Welcome to our episode with the Crock-pot Queen on the Co-op Cooking Show, powered by Arkansas Valley Electric. I'm your host, Emily Staten.
And I'm your guest host, Cindy Bowman. If you and your family love a good crock-pot recipe, you're in luck.
Because today is the day for savory dishes and slow cookings. So up first is Cindy's famous chuck roast. Cindy, do you want to tell me a little bit about this roast?
So I use this roast quite often, especially in the winter. Weekends that it's going to be cold like this, I can get it in the crock pot, have it prepared for not only Sunday dinner after church, Saturday evening dinner, but then it's leftovers for the entire week. So I kind of use this as a way that I don't have to cook every night when I get home from work.
And we love that.
We love that.
Okay, so let's get started.
Okay, great. So this is a roast from our own cattle. We raise our own beef like you do in your family. So I just pick a roast out of the freezer and thaw it. And we're just gonna cut this big guy open. We're gonna put this right in the crock pot with just as it is. So we have the roast in there. I'm gonna discard the packaging and the juices, and now we're ready to add our ingredients. The first thing that I like to use is Lipton Beefy Onion Soup Mix. So the next thing I like to use is add a little bit more beef bouillon. I like this better than bouillon. It is refrigerated after you open it, but it's a really thick bouillon and it has great flavor. Usually a couple of teaspoons. Then I just use again some other seasonings that I know my family likes. This Cavenders is one of my favorites. And I just sprinkle that on the roast, however you want it. The next one is the garden vegetable from McCormick. It has a really good flavor.
It smells super good.
It smells good.
You smell it a second ago?
Mm-hmm.
It's so good.
It works really well. I pretty much put it in all of my cooking because it's something that my family likes. Now that we have those items in, we're just going to add a little bit of water, enough to kind of dissolve the seasoning, but at the same time get a little bit of water around the roast.
And you do just enough to cover the roast,
yes,
right?
You can take it out of here and make gravy afterwards if you prefer. I just put enough in here to keep the roast moist so it doesn't dry. This roast is probably going to take 4 to 5 hours. So we've got it on high. We're just going to let it cook and come back later and see.
So you were telling me that you remember when you got your first crock pot.
That is correct. So I remember that we got our first crock pot probably when I was around 10, which would have been 1972. It was a round one and it was made by Rival. The first ones did not have the removable liner.
Really?
The crock was built into the pot.
Yeah.
And I remember my dad bringing it home from my mom, and we tried some chili and some soups, and then she used to make her stew in it. Growing up in Michigan, we used it all the time in the winter because she could start it in the morning and kind of let it go all day and didn't have to worry about checking it on the stove.
Right.
Never seemed to burn, never boiled over. So that first crock pot, if I recall, was a Rival. Mm-hmm. I looked it up and they started making those in 1971. So gosh, that's probably been 50 years ago.
Yeah.
That I've done crock pots. Crock pot cooking has been around for me for a very long time. Mm-hmm. I remember getting that first crock pot. It was just a round one. They're not near as big and elaborate as what they are now. Crock pots has kind of been a thing for me for a while.
Yeah, that's awesome. And they brought us here.
Yes.
And there's the crock-pot queen.
I don't know about a queen, but I love to cook with crock pots.
Well, perfect. I guess we will let it do its thing and we'll come back in a couple hours.
That sounds great. Look at that yummy roast.
I know, it looks so good. This is my favorite part.
Mm-hmm.
The taste test. It smells so good. I think everyone on this floor can smell it.
I think so too.
Mmm. That is so delicious.
It is awesome. That's very good.
I don't think I've ever made a roast this good.
It's nice because they don't get too dry.
No, it's not dry
like you
at
do
all.
if you put it in the oven sometimes.
And the flavor is all the way through, not just on the outside. That is so good.
Yummy. Today we're going to do a side for our roast. They have the term funeral potatoes because I think it's a big seller, I should say a big user, when you're making a dinner after a funeral service for a family.
Right. So we're gonna get started by cutting up an onion, and you said we're gonna dice it, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
So we're gonna take the butter first. We're gonna put it in the microwave. I like to go on 50% power, just so that it doesn't splatter everywhere and create a mess. So we're gonna check the cream cheese, and it looks like it is pretty well softened. Yes, I think it is.
We're just gonna get it kind of mixed together.
Yeah, kind of mix it a little bit together. So we're gonna add the sour cream. This is 1 cup. Sometimes you might want to add a little bit more to taste.
Right.
Because I like my things really creamy. You can use whatever cream soup that you prefer.
Right.
Chicken works well if you want a little bit of a chicken flavoring. I like celery because it doesn't really change the taste. So we're just going to continue to mix all of this up. Now we're going to add garlic, 2 cloves, 1/4 teaspoon of pepper, whatever you want to kind of add. We're going to mix all of this up.
Perfect.
Okay, now we're going to add this lovely onions that we diced up.
They have a very nice aroma.
Oh man, my eyes are still watering. Okay, so we have all of our ingredients in here with the exception
of the potatoes and cheese.
The 2 more. Yeah, so the potatoes and cheese. You can cut up your own potatoes if you prefer. I like to do the easy way with the frozen diced potatoes that's just in the freezer section. Just gonna add them a little bit at a time.
So while we are mixing these things together, tell me a little bit about your role at the co-op. What do you do? What does a daily life of Cindy look like?
Well, my day can be very diverse, from helping at the counter when members come in and have questions, to working on a net metering billing problem that a member has.
Right.
Large power billing issues for some of our members, those with poultry houses, taking care of questions that they have about their electric bill, and all the way to just our weekly bill calcs. I work on those. I do the dreaded disconnect for non-pays.
You do.
Probably my least,
the bad side of
my
your
least
job.
favorite job here at the co-op. 2 very most favorite jobs, which I've had on, we've done a podcast before about, is helping our elderly and disabled members, our older members,
Right.
those with disabilities or those with medical issues, giving them extra time to help pay their bills, working with them to get assistance from agencies.
Right, connecting them with the resources that they need.
Very rewarding to be able to help those people.
Right.
And
honestly,
then,
also, it's very timely that you're on the Cookin show in January, because you also work really closely with LIHEAP.
That's correct.
And the LIHEAP winter funds have just been
They
replenished.
just opened, so myself and the 2 girls that assist me have literally been getting probably 40 to 50 emails a day from the agencies that serve our co-op. We basically give them all the tools to get that pledge
Right.
on their electric bill.
To get the assistance.
Yeah, and like I said, this time of year it's perfect because he just opened.
It did. Which,
And-
for those that don't know, it's
Yes.
LIHEAP stands for Low Income Home Energy Assistance Program.
That is correct. And you do have to qualify that. If you're on
Food stamps.
Medicaid,
Right.
SSI, any of those items, you just need to get with your area action agency.
Which could be AVECC.
AVECC or Crawford Sebastian Community Development are the 2 biggest ones in our area. Get an appointment with them, and see if you qualify for it.
The opportunity and the resources are there. People just need to know about it.
Exactly.
And that's important to us at the co-op.
It is very important. It's teaching them that it's there and letting them know it's okay to go use it.
Right.
Some of the members are very apprehensive because they always feel there's someone worse than them.
Right.
The more we use it, the more money we get here in Arkansas, and that is extremely important. That gives us more funds for summer, more funds for next winter.
Absolutely.
So,
because we have people that could benefit from it.
We do.
A lot of the time, what you do at Arkansas Valley is just strictly helping our members.
It is.
Right?
It is. And then we've kind of transitioned that over onto the WAVE side.
Yeah.
With the Affordable Connectivity Program.
Lifeline.
And Lifeline. That the same members that qualify for LIHEAP can qualify for a reduction in their WAVE bill for internet.
I was actually telling a member about that this morning.
Yes, and so now it's an education process of my members that are getting LIHEAP.
Right.
Do you have WAVE with us? If you don't have WAVE, let's get it. Here's what we can get a discount for.
Or people think they do without because they think that they can't afford it.
Yes.
And it's not a necessity. But there are opportunities to make it affordable for you.
It is.
And
with a $30 ACP discount, it takes our basic plan from $56.95 down to $26.95 a month.
Which is a game changer.
It is. And
for game-changing internet. Lots of good stuff.
Lots of good things that I get to do.
Yeah.
The good very much outweighs the bad. So
for sure.
That's the best part of the job.
That is awesome. Well, now that we've got to know a little bit about what you do at the co-op, let's get these potatoes going.
Yes. So the last thing that we've got to put in here is probably the most...
My favorite, I think. The cheese.
We gotta put cheese in here. And lots of cheese.
Okay.
So we're ready to add this to the crock pot.
We've got it warmed up a little bit.
We already got it warmed up. Already got the liner. I'll let you help me with this.
Okay.
Because it's kind of heavy. And that's really important.
I feel like this is one of the things that everybody goes back for seconds on.
It is. I think you're exactly right.
I know, I'm guilty of it.
4 to 5 hours on high, about 8 hours on low.
And we'll be back in a couple hours.
Yes, can't wait.
Good. Okay, so now the potatoes.
Look at how ooey gooey those are.
I know, and they're so soft. Good.
Very good. Oh yeah. Perfect.
They are perfect. They're so creamy.
To me, they're so much better again than doing them in the oven because the oven you have to worry about them getting dried out.
Right.
So this is
But these are not dry. And they're creamy and they're cheesy. So good.
Yummy.
It's like comfort food.
It is. It is very much like comfort food.
Okay, so up next is our Crock-pot Apple Crisp.
Yes, we're going to do a dessert today as well as our main course, our roast. We've got our potatoes, and now we're going to have a dessert ready. So basically, what I would do at home is I would come in about 2 hours before we're going to eat.
Right.
And I prepare the apple crisps.
Cindy has made this for our potlucks at work a couple times, and it has been the biggest hit.
It is a really good. It is a really good, and it's good for you. It has a lot of really healthy ingredients. So we're gonna start out with. It says to use a little bit of a tart apple. We're just gonna peel them. You can do them in pretty slices. You can do them in chunks. It's really whatever that you call for. I was talking to Emily yesterday about the old-fashioned apple peeler that my grandmother had back in the day that hooked to the counter, and when we made homemade applesauce, I would literally sit there and it cranks it all day long.
My grandparents have an apple tree in their yard, and I think this year peeling the apples did them in because they went to Russellville to Leonard's.
Yes, Leonard's is one of the only places that still has
and
those.
got themselves an apple peeler, and my pop was so proud of it.
So we've got our apples all prepared.
Yes.
We've peeled them, we've sliced them. We're gonna add those
to the big bowl.
To the big bowl. Yeah. Okay. Woo! Not a good idea. going to add
2 tablespoons of granulated sugar, a half a teaspoon of nutmeg, teaspoon of cinnamon. Put these in the bottom of the crock pot, right?
Yes, we're going to the crock pot now.
Perfect. And now we're gonna do the oats and the brown sugar and the flour.
Yes.
And use the same bowl.
We're just gonna use the same bowl. Put our oats in.
Perfect.
Our brown sugar.
Flour.
The flour.
How much flour was it?
Half cup.
We have 8 tablespoons of butter. We're gonna just cut it up in small slices and spread it out in there, right?
Yes, because basically the butter's gonna melt and help it add a little bit of moisture to this basically dry
It
recipe.
is a pretty dry recipe.
Yeah, and the apples really don't have a lot of moisture, so this is kind of what makes it kind of ooey gooey.
Buns it all together. We love ooey gooey.
Yes.
Okay. Perfect.
So we're ready to put the lid on.
And then
High, I think, for 2 hours. Yes.
and cook it on.
And then let it cool for 30 minutes before you serve it.
Perfect. We have cooked the apple crisp for 2 hours on high, and we are going to go ahead and turn it off and then remove the lid, right, Cindy?
And then it's supposed to rest for 30 minutes.
Perfect. And then, by then, we'll have eaten our lunch.
Yes.
And we can
be
scoop some
ready
vanilla
for
ice
that.
cream.
Yes. The apple crisp looks yummy.
It does.
You can see it's already melting the ice cream.
Yes, and it's not dry at all. I was afraid that we didn't have enough butter in there, but no.
No, I think it worked just perfect.
I do too. We didn't wait the full 30 minutes. Very delicious.
Kind of reminds me of homemade oatmeal in the morning with apples.
In it? Yes.
Very good.
I could see it being really good with like nuts mixed in.
You can add walnuts,
Like a
pecans,
crunchy-
whatever
yeah.
you feel.
It's the perfect amount of sweet. You would never guess this came out of a crock pot.
No. Oh yeah, it's really good. And this ice cream is just making it yummy.
It is. Okay. Good job, Emma. Good job, Cindy. It was fun. So good.
I think I could eat my weight in those potatoes.
Me too.
Be sure to like and subscribe below.
Thanks for cooking with us today.